Well, welcome back everyone to another episode of Yoda's Hut. I'm Bill. I go by Yodaman on the boards. And this game features me, Yodaman, playing one of the regional winning decks against Justin's Smuggler's deck out at Gamers Armory at one of the Star Wars LCG game nights. In this match, I was playing Letux's winning Dark Side deck from the Detroit Regional. Uh, I had Scum affiliation with 2 Masterful Manipulation, 2 Hunter's Flight, 2 Hunters, 1 Hut's Menagerie, 1 Spice Trade, 1 Lucrative Contracts, and 1 Slave Trade. Justin was playing a Smuggler's Vehicle deck, which had 2 Bucket of Bolts, 2 Raise the Stakes, 2 Across the Inuit Sectors, 2 Breaking the Blockade, and 2 Secret Weapons. So looks like we're getting ready to start here. I am on the right playing the Scum deck, and I'm flipping up Slave Trade, Lucrative Contracts, and Masterful Manipulation. That's a pretty good start there, lots of resources. And Justin is going to start with Raise the Stakes, Breaking the Blockade, and Secret Weapons. So when I saw what Justin flipped up, I was definitely thinking I had to play the deck maybe a little differently than I initially planned for my opening hand, because I knew he had unblockables in the deck, so I was looking for some of my smaller units here. Looks like I'm discarding and probably a better offer, I think, and then drawing another card. So I've got a Slaver Holding Cells to start. Always great to start off with a resource, and those are some of the best. Those force resources back from the Echo cycle. And it looks like now I'm going to play the Outer Rim Space Pirates. Bit of a beefy unit. It costs 5. It does have 2 black guns and a white tactics, but it generates 3 resources. And it's a mercenary, which means you can actually use lucrative contracts to clear off an extra token from it if you need to. Now, that's not going to help me as much against Sleuths, but it is going to give me a chance to get some more resources out. And hopefully I'll just be able to kind of survive this first turn here from whatever Justin puts down, and hope he doesn't drop about 4 Sleuths with a well-paid and just completely wreck my board. So following it up with a deck collector, so I was able to put out 3 cards with resources. And now I guess I'm going to probably just commit the deck collector. I'll be able to take the force then, take 1 off Slaver Holding Cells, and also capture a card with Slave Trade. So it's always a little bit risky to capture things with Slave Trade when you don't have the Slaver out, because you can't sell cards back. But I think this was a case where I wanted to go ahead and capture cards, because the type of deck Justin was playing was probably not really going to be worried about keeping the force. Justin was probably trying to get lots of damage out as quickly as he could with the Sleuths and Blockade runners, and breaking the Blockade to even potentially attack twice. So there Justin is going to get to drop a Sleuth. He's leaving Breaking the Blockade opens, which means if he has a pilot on that Sleuth, he'll be able to focus it and double strike. Raise the Stakes also gives him the unopposed bonus raise to 2 while it's undamaged. And Bucket of Bolts lets you bring a pilot into play from a unit to a vehicle. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to swing at Masterful Manipulation here. I'm probably actually better off not blocking, even though it's a shame that he might be able to blow this up, because if I put my deck collector in the way, unless I have a heat of battle, which I don't think there were any in these decks, I'm not going to be able to take out the Sleuth, and then he's going to kill my deck collector and kind of strip me from potentially having a blocker later on. And he is saving 2 resources, so it looks like he's just swinging in with the Sleuth, going to focus Breaking the Blockade so he can take a token off and shoot again. And then when he goes unopposed, I had a Corrupt Official, so I'm actually going to stop the 2 from unopposed. He only gets 2 damage on Masterful, and I'll be able to shuffle Masterful Manipulations back in at the end of the turn. So that damage he just got was a little bit wasted there. I think Justin thought he'd be able to sneak it in and wasn't thinking about Corrupt Officials, even though Lucrative Contracts and that Outer Rim Space Pirates was out. So there's probably not a lot Justin can do at this point, unless he has some other trick up his sleeve here. Looks like that's going to end that engagement, and he's going to swindle my deck collector. I'm a little surprised he didn't just do that before the engagement. Maybe he was waiting to see if I defended first. But I'm going to get to keep balance. I'll capture a card with Slave Trade, at the end of my turn, or end of his turn, I'm going to be able to shuffle Masterful Manipulation back in to get some more resources. And that also allows you to draw a card, so you can get something and have another option for potentially pitching a card and cycling through your deck. And all things considered, I had a pretty good result at the end of Justin's first turn. He didn't get any damage on that stuck, since I was able to get rid of the damage on Masterful Manipulation. And yep, looks like I just drew the card with Masterful, and the dial will just move up to 3. And now I can make use of that Outer Rim Space Hunter just to put some tactics down, since I know I can't block a Sleuth or Blockade Runner. Looks like I flipped up Hunter's Flight, so I do get another 2 resources. It doesn't do anything else, but having the resources never hurts. So between the Outer Rim Space Pirates, the Slaver Holding Cells, Hunter's Flight, and the other stuff out there, I already had a bunch of resources out. Looks like I'm just going to put the deck collector back out. Oops, accidentally put a damage instead of focus. Justin was kind enough to let me know that. So more resources. And another deck collector, so even more resources. Looks like I'm spreading that out a little bit. And a Galactic Scum. So that's going to leave me with 3 potential blockers against Sleuths or Blockade Runners. And I'm going to swing in, probably have to raise the stakes here just to turn it off and double focus that Sleuth. Yep, so that's what I'm going to do. And Justin will be able to free up the Sleuth if he wants to use Breaking the Blockade, but that'll deprive him of one of his resources that maybe he would have been able to do something else with. Now, something that I noticed while Justin and I were playing here, and I think I even commented it to him, that I like the idea of what he was trying to do with his deck, but the one problem with it, or drawback, is that it really has no resources at all. The only resources in Justin's deck are the well-paids, and that really can keep you from getting some fast turns there. I mean, obviously, if you can get well-paids into things, you're in good shape, but no other resources to try to play tricks like swindled or anything else can kind of really set you back. So I did capture a card with Slave Trade when my turn ended and took one off Slaver Holding Cells. Justin just discarded a Surprising Maneuver there, so I'm happy to see that go on. So Surprising Maneuver lets you focus 2 ships that have pilots on them to destroy all defenders in an engagement. It's also a good 3 pip edge card, so I guess he's trying to probably digging for a well-paid to try to get some ships out quicker on his side. And I think this is where we were probably talking about the resource issue that he might be facing in his deck. So I have my 3 blockers. I've got the Galactic Scum 2 deck collectors. That's going to help against any unblockable attacks. And really, the main thing I'm hoping Justin doesn't have here is well-paid into a bunch of Sleuths, because he can really get some fast resource acceleration with his well-paids. All right, he's going to play one of the smuggling freighters from the Breaking Blockade. So that's probably not what he wanted to really see right there, but it is better than nothing. At least he gets a ship out. Still no well-paid, so he's having to pay full price for this. Another pilot. One of those Duros smugglers. They're good. They just free pilots. You can just pop on there and make use of them from the Breaking the Blockade set. Justin still has 2 resources open, but one of them he may want to save for Breaking the Blockade so he could try to strike multiple times with it. And he also has Bucket of Bolts 1. All right, so it looks like he is done deploying and trying to contemplate what he might want to attack here. He's going to use Breaking the Blockade to remove the token off the Sleuth. Now I've got a few blockers here, so I'm in much better shape than it was after the first turn, with 3 potential blockers. So even if he tries to swindle something, I'll be okay. And Justin's situation, all these things are not ideal. Now he really could, let's see, he's going to use the shielding card, hidden among enemies, which lets him put a shield on one of his vehicles, and then I have to randomly discard a card. Couldn't see what I had to discard there, but So I'm down to 2 cards, and it looks like he's going to swing in with the Sleuth, which now has a shield. And I will probably block, probably with the Scum, just in case. Yep, with the Scum, just in case I can win edge, I could potentially focus down his other ship as well. So we're going to have an edge battle here. Justin put one in. I put one in. Looks like I'm passing and he's passed. And we both have 2. I had to stay on target, but I didn't have any pilots to put in. And so I'm going to be able to shoot the Sleuth for 1 and probably focus the smuggling freighter just to not have to worry about it. Let him shoot since his Sleuth actually has absolutely no blast icons right now. He does do 1 damage to my Scum, but all things considered, again, he still doesn't have any damage on my objectives. So we'll go to force phase. I'm going to keep balance. I'll use slave trade to capture another card. And get to refresh. The dial will go up to 5. So this Scum deck that Letux built is actually really similar to one I was playing last summer. It was before Hutt's Menagerie and Spice Trade came out. I'd used the same other 8 sets, and I had used actually one of Jabba and one of Slimiest Scheme in the set. But Hutt's Menagerie and Spice Trade certainly make this a much better deck. So it looks like I'm going to play Zizor, so he's always good to put out. He's got some tactics. He's got blast icons. I should be able to kind of lock down his board with Zizor. And just like I did on my turn, chances are I'm going to try to attack with my big units here because they would do me no good against unblockables anyway, and I can just lock down what he has. So I'm going to play Bubo, so I've got some Scum Protect now. Bubo is certainly a staple of any Scum deck that you have. You always want to be able to get him out and help protect your things like Zizor and anybody else, like Jabba's Rancor, basically any Scum unit, even vehicles, so that really can help a lot. So it looks like I'm probably done deploying there, and I would think I'm going to attack something with Zizor just to get some damage. Try to help start spreading damage around, so maybe the next time the dial clicks up that I could be in striking distance of potentially taking all 3 objectives out in 1 turn. So, yep, looks like I'm going to attack with Zizor. So Zizor's got, with winning edge, he's going to have 2 tactics. He's going to have a black blast and he'll get unopposed. So I'm going after, it looks like, probably breaking the blockade. Yep, so I'm going to put 2 tactics. I'll probably try to put 1 on this, each one. I assume they'll shield the 1 on the Sleuth. Yep. All right. So now ending the engagement, it looks like, yes, I'm saying I'm going to end the engagement, and then I'm going to play Spice Blitz, which lets me take a focus token off Zizor, and then if he's still in play at the end of the phase, I'll have to put twice as many back on. So that means I took 1 off. I'll have to put that 1 on, or I'll have to put 2 back on at the end, despite in addition to anything else he might have. So I'm going to probably swing at Bucket of Bolts here with Zizor and put another tactics on each of his ships. Get 2 damage in on the objective. And then probably go in with the Outer Rim Space Hunters that raise the stakes just to get 1 more damage on there. So I'll end up with 2 on each of them. And triple focus the Sleuth. Yep, so I'm going to do that. The conflict phase ends, so I have to put extra 2 tokens off on Zizor, so he's going to be locked down next turn, but that may not be too bad. I'm going to commit Bubo, take 1 off Slaver holding cells, and I will get to capture a card with Slave Trade again. I've got to capture 1 basically every turn, mine and his, this whole game, because I've had balance the whole time. So Justin's going to refresh, and both his Sleuth and the Smuggling Freighter are locked down. Even with breaking the blockade, he couldn't free them up because they still both have 2 focus tokens on them. And we'll have to see what Justin is able to do here with his 4 resources. Again, this lack of resources was really hurting him in this game that I'm sure he could have used maybe a Gamma Run, maybe one of Lando's, just something that had resources in it to make up for the fact that he hasn't drawn any well paid. So Justin is playing a blockade runner. And once again, I've got potential blockers here. I've got three different things. I've got Bubo, I've got the Scum, I've got the deck collector that's focused. And it looks like he's going to probably swing in with the blockade runner. Although, yeah, because he couldn't even get force back if he didn't. I've got 3 on the force right now. So he is going to swing at lucrative contracts, and I'm going to block with the galactic scum. And the nice thing here is even with Bubo being out, I can protect damage that might come to the scum here. Although right now he's only got 1 gun on the blockade runner, but he does have heated battles in his deck thanks to the bucket of bolts set. So it looks like this edge battle, Justin's throwing 3 in. I put 2 in. I think I have about 4, and he has, looks like 6 with 2 targets and a heat. So he's going to put 2 damage. I think there should have been 2 targets there. We missed that one. A heat on the galactic scum, which I'm protecting. Yeah, we're putting it on there now. And then I will protect 1 to Bubo so he won't blow up. I think there should be 1 more damage on there from those targets. I'm not sure why I missed that. Maybe I misheard him and thought it was something, a different fake card. So it probably should be 4 damage on lucrative. It doesn't matter. It'll still be there. And it looks like Justin's probably just going to have to pass turn here again and hope I don't draw blast. Right now, the only blast I actually have is from Zizor. So I'm going to capture a card with Slave Trade, take 1 off Slaver Holding Cells. The dial will move to 7, so I am within striking distance, even though I have no blast. So we'll have to see if I can draw any blast here. Now, there's certainly some blast in the deck. There's Snuva, there's Bausch, there's the Black Sun Headhunters, there's the Energy Spiders, because I know Hutt's Menagerie's in here, Jabba's Rancor if I really needed to use it. But I basically need to get 3 on each to try to do it. So I need 6 blasts potentially to blow up all 3. It's probably going to be pretty tough since Caesar's locked down. Oh, got an Energy Spider. That's going to certainly help. And now I'm playing Malakili. And Malakili will actually let me search my deck to get a creature. And I got to think I might actually get another Energy Spider at this point, because that will allow me to blow up 2 objectives if I want to. So I'm going to get the Energy Spider. That goes back to my hand. I certainly have resources to play an Energy Spider here since they only cost 1. Yep, so I'm going to spend 1 and play the Energy Spider. So now I just need 2 more blasts. Oh, and there I've just played Morith Duel, and that should be enough to let me actually win this game here. Because with Duel's reaction, I'll be able to strike and then free up a Spider. And so it looks like we're going to conflict. I'm going to attack Raise the Stakes with the Spider. He'll get 2 blast damage. The unopposed will blow it up, which will allow me to use Duel's reaction to move a token from the Spider to the blockade runner. I can strike with that same Spider again after breaking the blockade. Do 2 damage. And then I didn't even actually need both Spiders there with Duel. I really just needed 1 of them. And that is what Morith Duel and Energy Spiders with Blast can do in a game. They can give you a lot of blast right away that you might not have thought of happening, because you could free up something. Duel's reaction of moving a focus token from one of your units to an enemy unit after an objective is destroyed is just really incredible and can speed up the game. So that was a really quick game for that Scum deck. I can see why Letux was able to win a regional there, and I think he didn't even lose a game with it that day, if I remember what he posted. Just kind of going over what Duel's card says. And so Justin's deck really just wasn't able to do much to me. It didn't get off to a fast enough start to try to keep me locked down or blow things up. The Corrupt Official early certainly made a big difference there. And then Malakili to get an Energy Spider rather than something like Bubo or the Rancor was certainly a clever play on my part there to get the extra blast and take all 3 of those objectives out. Well, thanks again to everybody who's been watching and supporting Yoda's Hut. I appreciate all the support I've been getting, and I hope you enjoy the games. Until next time, may the Force be with you.